And good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Today I want to talk about radio etiquette. And this is something that I feel pretty confident I've addressed before in a shift short like a year ago. But it's worth repeating because apparently people don't like to listen. So obviously one of the centerpieces of our job is our radios. We have to listen to tones go off. We have to talk to each other. We have to talk to dispatch. Even if you have like an MDT or something like that, that you can just tap buttons and does most of the mundane communication for you, you still have to talk on the radio. And I know it boggles my mind sometimes the way people think that they can talk on the radio. Now, just to give some perspective, when kind of the progression of my work experience started with an agency that used like basically the equivalent of Nextels, like not actually, but like the push to talk cellular radio things. And you didn't know who all was potentially on that channel. It was a multi-division company. But then, my next job was still another private service that we actually used, real UHF radios. And then went to a county service, a county 911 service, which okay, the progression from private service where you can be a little more informal, like, don't be stupid, but there's not a lot of high stakes. It's not like you've got news organizations trying to listen in on this or journalists trying to listen in or, ambulance chasers trying to listen in. But when I switched to a actual 911 service, sure, we were a small service. At the time, I believe we had 5 ambulances. Mind you, this is a county that's like over 700 square fucking miles. But we had 5 ambulances on a good day, and 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 QRVs. And there was definitely a different emphasis on talking on the radio because you realize, hey, this shit's for real. And we know that people are listening to this. There was a I'm not going to go too deep into the drama of it because that doesn't do anybody any good, and this is years ago. But there was an owner of a private ambulance service that operated in that county who would listen in on the radio and would be recording conversations on the radio and tracking people's response times and kind of randomly showing up on calls to videotape and take pictures and all of that. And used it to promote his business and his own political activities. And, there was a lot of pressure to speak properly and to actually be doing what you said you were doing. So if you're going en route, actually be en route. So learned a lot there. There was a lot of pressure, but I learned a lot, and it was still a lower stakes environment because it was such a small agency. So if you said something stupid, it wasn't like a fuck ton of people heard it. Well, then from there, my next job was a massive county service that had about 20 ambulances and I want to say 5 QRVs at the time. And it was definitely a different situation. There was a lot more traffic. There was a lot more, there were definitely some higher expectations for how you should be talking. And, you knew when you keyed up that mic, there was quite a few people who were going to hear what you had to say. And we were held to a very strict standard. If you were fucking around on the radio or copping attitude or whatnot, you were going to get a phone call. You were getting your fucking ass chewed. In my opinion, as it should be. These radios are not your personal cellular devices. These are not your toys. These are tools that are part of your job, and communication is one of the most crucial parts of our job. And being able to have fluid communication, especially in high stress situations, is of paramount importance. So it just completely, it's mind boggling to me the way people talk on the radio now sometimes at different agencies. I'm like, what are you? Is this kindergarten? Like, you get sent to a call. En route. Excuse me? Fuck off. You get dispatched to a call? 10-4, show me en route. If you ask dispatch a question and they didn't hear you, they ask you to repeat it. Don't be like, no, and just say it louder. No, enunciate and speak professionally. We need dispatch to communicate effectively and to communicate with. And having a pissing contest is not the way to fucking go about it. If you have a problem with the way something's being done on the radio, pick up the damn phone and call somebody. There's people that are just not emotionally regulating, who are flying off the handle at dispatch for nothing. For nothing. Acting like it's like dispatch is the one who's to blame because you can't find a fucking house. Or that they were given a wrong house number, which is not their fault. They're not fucking magicians who can just teleport themselves wherever and see where these houses are. They have to go with the information they're given. I've seen this for years now, years at multiple different services. I'm not singling any one entity or one crew out. There's an epidemic of this shit. And I'm sorry, there's just, what's the point? What is the point of being rude? Even if, let's just say, because this does happen sometimes too, let's say you have a dispatcher who is rude to you. They're snippy with you, whatever. How does that really impact your day? How does that actually hurt your life any that they did that? How much better is it to respond to that with 10-4, thank you, and just let it go? Because guess what? We don't want to hear you bitch and argue. You're grown-ass men and women. Act like it. Speak like it. I can't tell you how many times I have to tell my kids, hey, speak properly. We're beyond the point of mumbling at each other and being passive aggressive and saying dumb shit to each other. Like, no, speak properly, communicate what you actually have to say. And if there's a problem, we can deal with it. So this isn't something where there's like a step-by-step, like, here's how you do radio etiquette. Obviously, every agency has their policies and procedures about how you're supposed to communicate, how you're supposed to key up, when you're supposed to key up, so on and so forth. The problem I have is when people who are not emotionally regulating are making their bad day everybody else's problem. If you are frustrated, if you're upset, if you're panicking, talking on the radio is not the time to act like that. And I've had people over the years who try to justify and say, well, you know, the higher stress a call is, the higher acuity it is, the more of a sense of urgency you should have, and you know, you should basically justifying yelling at people. And I unequivocally deny that. I think that's immature. I think that is unprofessional, and I think it does nothing but break down respect for our profession. If you hear me panicked on the radio, some shit has hit the fan. Like, I am beyond fucked at that point. But if you are in a shitty situation, let's say you're incident command of an MVA. Okay. You have 10 patients. You know, 2 of them are missing limbs, another one's got an open book pelvic fracture, 3 of them are kids that aren't responsive. Okay, cool. That's fucked up, and you have a lot of work to do. But it is going to benefit the patients more if you can communicate calmly and confidently what you need. So make sure to clearly communicate to dispatch. You know, whatever, central or whatever, you know, dispatch or whatever title you use for dispatch. Tell them what you have, tell them what you need, and cool. They do it from there. Does dispatch mess up sometimes? Absolutely they do. And if dispatch messes up, they should be held accountable too, as should we. We should be held accountable. But communication is such a crucial part of what we do. that we should be going above and beyond to make it professional. We should be going above and beyond to act responsibly and maturely. And because why? Because ultimately, that's what our patients need. It's not about you. It's not about the day you've had. It's not about, okay, this may be your 20th call. And I get that. I do. But dispatch's job is to give you calls. Period. It is. And I can't tell you how many times that I have seen situations where people thought they were being singled out as a truck. And when you actually look at the numbers, no, they weren't. They really weren't. Now, sometimes they were. And that's a whole other problem that needs to be addressed. It's not fair to unjustly dump calls on trucks to baby another truck. Period. The end. If you're a paramedic unit, cool. You're a paramedic unit. Behave like it. If you're an EMT unit, cool. Behave like it. You're going to get calls. Suck it up. So, to me, it seems like this should be common sense, but unfortunately, I don't think it really is. Act like an adult. Talk like an adult. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. If it's something that makes you mad enough that you need to go deal with it, pick up the phone. If you've tried communicating with dispatch and they can't hear you, call them. Don't give a dissertation over the radio. Just call them. Tell them what's going on. It's not hard to have a simple conversation. So, big takeaway for all of this is quite simple. It's be a fucking responsible adult. That's it. It's not complicated. It's not harder than that. Be a responsible adult. That's all I got for you guys. Be safe. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.